Hi guys, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I've got a post here from King Solomon and I want to give him his props on this first and foremost, and also to Mark Chadwick, because when I did see this, King Solomon said he didn't find the original document. It was Mark Chadwick, so I want to give credit to the original source, but also to King Solomon because he's obviously brought it to my attention. So I'm going to just add on to this. And guys, I'll be honest with you, this is one of the most bullish things I've seen for HBAR in a long time. It really is exciting. So let's go through it. So King Solomon says, the largest US tokenized collateral trials in history just stress tested Hedera. Fidelity, JPM, State Street, Moody's, all interoperating across HBAR, ETH and BSU. 300 plus firms, Ripple, Canton, Stellar, the trials ran on Hedera. Absolutely insane. So there actually are some more players in this, so just a few more, and don't get me wrong, this isn't final, there's actually way more, but we've got BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, JPM was already stated, JP Morgan, DTCC and Swift. Now again, that's not the full names, these are just more names that I'm adding into this, and they've basically published a document that they've done where they've talked about a sandbox where they've been doing tokenization trials, and this has been on Hedera, Ethereum and BSU. Now, when I've just had like a quick scan from what I've seen of the document, the main two I saw was Ethereum and Hedera. So no disrespect to BSU, because I'll be honest with you, BSU is just not a platform I'm familiar with. It's not a network I'm aware of. Again, that's no disrespect. I'm just saying what I saw. But BSU's in here. So, you know, whatever the deal is with BSU, you know, congratulations to them. But yes, this was a document published by the Global Digital Finance and the ISDA. Look guys, if you ask me, this is where I think, if I'll be honest with you, we're just waiting for this Clarity Act to get passed. And as I've said before, I think the floodgates are really going to open. I really do. Now, the thing for me about this is that you're seeing that it's not just one network that's involved in this. So, like, if you do go through the document, you can see like Ripple mentioned in there, Canton, Stellar. So it's not like necessarily a thing where, you know, it's just Hedera getting this, you know, getting this action. But I will say this, it was Hedera that was tested on, you know, and for how many networks there are out there, and don't get me wrong, Ethereum was included in BSU, so let me not just like rule them out either. But out of all the networks that was out there, there was 3 that was actually trialed. 3. And Hedera was one of them. Do you see what I mean? And look at all of the names that we've just gone through when we've talked about this. And this is why I say I think it's probably the most exciting thing that we've covered in a long time regarding Hedera. To me, like, this is showing you literally them testing for the future. This is what they're doing. They're stress testing it. Like, they're literally trialing the network. And look, for me, in my opinion, I think that, you know, Hedera will be more than up to the challenge. So I think it's most likely that this would have been a success. So what does that say for the future? Right? And this is why I say, like, I think this is the trials in preparation. Now, look, is it possible that they could do the trials on Hedera and then pick another network? Yeah, that's possible. We can't rule that out. But at the end of the day, if you've done a trial on a network and then it's successful, the likelihood is that you're going to use that network, right? So for me, I think this is massive. And I just think this is one of those things where, are they getting things now in place where they're testing things regarding this technology, so that when the Clarity Act gets passed, we can start to move on to doing these things. So this could just be like getting the stuff in place, right? Let's do the tests. Let's, you know, do all the necessary things that we want to do to make sure we feel comfortable. All that's a success. Okay, great. Now all we need is the Clarity Act to pass, and then we can officially run the live version of this. We can actually move on to doing this officially. That's what I'm thinking. So look, I will say, obviously, Ethereum was also mentioned in here, and BSU, as I said. Look, BSU, again, I'm not going to say too much on BSU because I just don't know that network. Ethereum, as I've said before, I'm not going to harp on too much of this because I'm like a broken record with Ethereum, but I really do just think Ethereum gets in there because of the fact that it's the number 2 cryptocurrency, so it's got the most liquidity in there and whatnot. So I do think it's one of those where Ethereum will always kind of get a bit of a seat at the table in that regard. But let's be realistic here. If you're testing Hedera and then you're testing Ethereum, I think they're going to see a big difference, right? And now that doesn't mean that they're going to completely ditch Ethereum. Not at all, because as I've said here, it's not just one network they're talking about, and it's not going to be just one network in the end that's utilized. Like it's not going to be like Hedera just takes all these big companies on. It's going to be interoperable, and that's why when you go through the document, you'll see there's so many networks named in the document. Like it's really not just like one, like one network and that's it. No, like there's numerous, and that's the way it's going to be. It's going to be interoperable because they'll choose different networks for different things, or they'll have basically like a big hybrid ledger out of like a numerous different ledgers that can be used for different things. So that's the way it's going to be. So I really do think, to me, this is like a massive sign for the future. Like they're not doing this for no reason. Like the sandbox testing this because this is what they're looking to do. And if you think of all the names that we've just spoke of, like this is why I say to you guys, like, yes, the price is down right now, but look at what is actually happening with the technology. Like, I could be wrong when I say this, but I feel pretty confident in saying personally, just from my own perspective, crypto is not going anywhere and it will be adopted. Like, it will, because the things that you can do with this technology is way better than the systems that are in place right now. It just is. And look, even if we want to go down to like, let's just say like a negative perspective, right? Even if we want to talk about it from a negative perspective, us being on the blockchain, it means that, transparency is there. And like, yes, I don't get me wrong, this is the negative side of it. We lose our privacy, right? But the governments will want that. They're going to want to be able to look on the blockchain or the hashgraph and see, what kind of money you've got and make sure that you're paying your taxes, see what kind of things you're using with your money and things like that. They're going to want to be able to see all that. So even if you talk about it from a pessimistic side of view, this technology is going to be wanted. It's going to be wanted to be utilized. So I just can't see how this doesn't mean big things in the future, right? So let's move away from the pessimistic side of this and go back to the optimistic side of it. We've got big banks here, big names, all testing the technology. And again, Hedera isn't even a top 10 cryptocurrency, but it got picked. And that's why, for me with Hedera, it's not about where it is, it's the potential and it's the technology. Because in my opinion, Hedera is a top 10 cryptocurrency. It may not be there officially, but in terms of the technology, it's superior. It deserves its place. And you got to remember that Hedera came out a lot later than a lot of other technology. I believe Hedera came out in 2019, if I remember rightly. So there's a lot of cryptos that have been out there a lot longer than Hedera. So obviously it's had to have like less time to try and show and prove. But we can see with documents like this, it's there. Like the demand is there. Like this is real. So guys, like, look, I'm going to keep it short and sweet here. But to me, like what you're just seeing here is you're seeing a peep into the future. And it's these big companies utilizing this technology. I don't see how that doesn't happen personally. I can't see how that just wouldn't occur because it's just too valuable. It's just too beneficial for them. It would not make sense for them to turn this technology away. Like they're actually just doing themselves a disservice. So again, Hedera was one of the just three that was picked. To me, that speaks volumes. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that speaks volumes. So if I've ever had any kind of, doubt or anything like that, which to be honest with you, I haven't, this just solidifies it for me. Like I'm very glad that I'm involved in HBAR. Like I really am, because I really do think this to me is giving me even that much more confidence. So obviously it's up to you guys what you guys think. If you do want to go and look at the document for yourselves, Mark Chadwick on Twitter or X, or look for King Solomon. Either one of those guys have got it on their profiles, and you'll be able to go and take a look and have a look at it for yourselves. But guys, this is big. This is really big. So I thought I'd share this with you. Great stuff. Shout out to King Solomon. Shout out to Mark Chadwick. Real great find here, but to me, this is very optimistic for the future. I'll leave it there. If you did like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be updated for future HBAR content. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be alerted on when I do drop a new video. Thank you very much for watching this, and I'll see you all on the next one.